Happy New Year! My name is Nathan, and today we're going to be drawing every Drawfee Yule lad. So if things sound a little different to you, it's because I am not at my normal desk. I am away for the holidays, so I don't have my normal editing equipment. I don't have my normal microphone equipment. But I want to put out a video because I'm trying to start off 2024 in a good foot. So this video is out late. But yeah, this is sort of an ode to the holidays, and I'm drawing the Yule lads, which are fun, mythical creatures that have been everywhere on the Drawfee program for various challenges. And I'm putting them all in one composition, but there's some twists along the way. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and jump into the speed draw. So I said I'm putting them all in one composition, and that's true, but I wanted to do things a little differently. So I asked the members on my Patreon for various characters that the Yule lads would be playing pranks on. And luckily, I got 5 really great suggestions. And so the first one was from a character named Davy from 8 Crazy Nights, which is a Hanukkah special. Hello, hey, we need more of those in our lives. And it's basically Adam Sandler being Adam Sandler in a holiday movie. So I gathered all of the Yule lads that are sort of associated with cooking or smelling things. Like, there are a lot of Yule lads that are really captivated by aromas. So it's the first day of Hanukkah. He's getting his little meal together, and all of the Yule lads want to steal some of his food. Yeah, that's basically the premise of the image. I had a lot of fun sort of putting it here in the picture plane. I chose 5 different characters, and a byproduct of that is I wanted them all in the same image, so it was just one speed draw file. That way I didn't have to think about it too much. I'm gonna, like I said, I don't have my normal tools that I use to make videos, so this is just how it came about. But I'm really happy with it because having that middle picture plane section being cut out made me have to be more creative with, like, how am I going to include everyone and what can I crop out but still have the image be interesting. Yeah, which is fun. And also right off the bat, you'll see 2 Yule lads that may still be not recognizable by the time this video goes up. I don't know if last year's, it is last year's, that's so funny, but last month's Patreon for Drawfee is up live by the time this video is out. But there are 2 new Yule lads that I had to add in real quick. One is like a vacuum cleaner Yule lad, and the other one is a Yule pirate, like a Hanukkah Yule lad that floats inside matzo ball soup. That were both drawn by Nathan. And yeah, I was like watching the stream while I was working on this, and I was like, oh, 2 new Yule lads, work. That's exactly what I'm doing right now. So that's how it is. I included them in the image, and I'm sure they'll come out real quick. It's a good stream. If you don't follow Drawfee on Patreon, give them a follow. And if you want to follow me on Patreon, link in the description down below. I think it's just like $2 to get in there. You can make suggestions just like this one, and you can teach me that there are Hanukkah movies that I had no idea about. Hello, awesome. Yeah, now we're working on the background, which is really fun. A little bit of a door handle, some hinges. This door was actually supposed to be a screen door, but I just decided not to add the screen texture on top of it because look at how cute those Yule lads are looking inside. It's magical. I didn't want to obstruct our view from them. Hello. Yeah, but they all desperately want to eat this delicious meal and look in, so you can imagine it. We feel that screen door being there. I don't have to explain it. And look at this drowning little guy. I love this Yule lad that has this giant nose, and he's in a big tub. I don't remember a lot of their lore or names. I just had those images of them, and I was like, okay, this is what we got to work with. And he was just so hilarious. And I thought about having the water, be low enough that his nostrils stuck out, so it was like he was breathing. But then I was like, nope, he's just completely under this hot dog water, which was so fun. Look at him. It was so fun to render that water. It was truly a delight. Yeah, it was quite a feat. I actually got kind of carried away with how many Yule lads I included in the first image because there were just a lot that fit the vibe of wanting to eat, and like the one that's kind of a robot vacuum cleaner made sense to be on a kitchen floor. That one Yule lad, which is the one that snatches sausages, he just looked really mischievous. So I gave him a baseball bat to like hit Adam Sandler above the head, which will be so fun. It's a wacky kind of adventure. No one will get hurt, and I'm sure they'll all learn the true meaning of Hanukkah by the end of it, which is great. So yeah, and then also with Yule lads, most of them are in black and white, so I have to make some color decisions. I decided to go mainly with red, but with touches of green, keeping it very festive and very Santa Claus adjacent. They all look like little Santa Clauses in their own individual ways, which is great. I'm really proud of the lighting on this. I thought it was super fun having the light source be like that thing, those lights above your stove and the lights from the fridge. So this is the finished image. Like, how cute. But we don't have time to appreciate it because we have to jump into the next one. So this one's a little more Halloween. I was inspired by this drawing. Yes. Oh my gosh, look at it. I can't remember. I think the name of this famous painting is like Christina's World, something like that. But I love that painting. My mom really, really loves that painting. She talks about it all the time. She was an artist of sorts, but then she had so many children that she didn't really get to finish going to art school and stuff like that. But we still talk about art from time to time, which is really fun. So I wanted to take that image, and this one is more of a Halloween-y piece. It's a little more spooky ooky, but there are Yule lads, and one of my Patreon members was like, oh, you should have the little clothespin boy as a character. And I was like, oh, maybe he's getting hazed into joining the Yule lads, and so he has to pull a prank on their mom, who is the mother of Yule lads that Julia drew during, I think, one of the cryptid episodes. So I was like, okay, hello work. I have my lady in the field, and I love that her hair is the night sky. I think that's so cool, and it was so fun to do. I just loved it wrapping around everything and putting stars in it. Oh my gosh, what a delight. And it was also fun to sort of practice a looser inking style. I really was like, we're just going to do textures and we gotta get it down. We gotta finish this. It's gonna become more apparent later on. You're gonna see I like lose some steam and then gain some steam. So yeah, this is another example though of me using too many Yule lads. I was just sort of like, okay, which ones would be outside? And I was like, well, Clothespin Boy, the ones with the sheep were at a farm. So like there were several ones that were just like outside, and I was like, okay, well, they would all be included. And there's one that does something with chimneys, so he can be on that little house. Oh, look at Clothespin Boy. He's so cute and tiny. Adding some grass detail. Ooh, now we're coloring, which is super fun. I didn't know exactly what direction to take this, but I ended up with like mainly purples and deep blues, which just felt evocative of the night sky. Yeah, and I had a couple of complementary greenies and yellows, which is fun. And yeah, it's pretty straightforward. But if you're counting at home, folks, you've probably figured out these number of Yule lads, there's only 3 left, and I had 3 other images. So for some reason, I just thought there were so many Yule lads. So for the last 3 images, I ended up having to just pair one Yule lad to one character of the 5 that were recommended, which was kind of great. I had a little bit of trouble lighting this scene because I didn't know whether to use a soft glow. It took me a while to come to rim lighting, which seemed so obvious if you just put the moon, but it wasn't. I didn't want to fully render everything because I wanted things to feel not unfinished, but I just wanted to not work that hard. And rim lighting's a good way of showing space and depth without, doing all those complicated shadows. I end up putting a couple of shadows just on the mother of the Yule lads, whose name I also forget. I'm so sorry. This is my job. I really need to be better at this. But yeah, these are her shadows, and I love the reflective light behind her hair. 10 out of 10 if I had to grade myself. A+ on the hair. I think it's magical. And what more, it just feels like a Mickey Mouse musical or something. This is the finished image. Beautiful. Ignore that little bit in the corner. That's like a striptease when you get a little bit at a time. What's to come? You already saw it. But don't pause the video. Keep watching forward because now we're drawing Ebenezer Scrooge, who is one of my favorite Christmas stories. I love when a Christmas story has a little bit of spooky in it. And so, like Nightmare Before Christmas or A Christmas Carol, like I like when there's a little creepiness to my holiday stuff because it makes the festive joy feel more heightened when there's something scary to sort of juxtapose it with. Which is funny because in a lot of cultures, Santa has these wackadoodle people that he's paired with, like the Krampus or the Yule lads. So I guess other people agree. But there's the Yule lad that's a giant candle that we have a la Julia. And I'm like, that literally just looks like the Ghost of Christmas Past from the description in, A Christmas Carol. So I was like, okay, this one's like the easiest, but it gives me a chance to do a self-indulgent Ebenezer Scrooge who came along really quickly. Like, look at him, he's already done. But it took me a while to figure out how skinny to make him, how pointy to make him, what shape language to use. I looked at a lot of different versions of Ebenezer Scrooge, and I liked the ones with him having slightly longer hair. I don't know what it was about that and the mutton chops, but for some reason that just felt more Scrooge than him having short hair. I just found some images online that I threw on here to add some textures into the background. So I found this Victorian wallpaper, and then also I find this like old ink drawing of like London, I guess, that I end up putting just as a little bit of a texture outside the window. Yeah, and I love the lighting on the candle Yule lad and on this piece. I wanted it to be very, very dark, very Juliet inspired, and just have the candlelight be the main light. There's that window that I told you about. But just have everything sort of coming from the candle. But then we have that unnatural spotlight sort of on the Yule lad in the background, and it's so scary, and Ebenezer Scrooge is going to learn the true meaning of Christmas and going to become a better person whether he wants to or not. Listen, look, it's done. Wow, finished. Beautiful. I'm proud of him. And now here we go. So this one's by far, I think, the most off the wall because I'm just drawing a very muscular Arnold Schwarzenegger to start off the bat. But there's a movie called Jingle All the Way, which is on, I think, most people's Christmas holiday roster of movies that they rotate in or out. I don't know if it's anyone's favorite movie. Like, to me, the big staples are like Elf and Home Alone and the claymation movies. But we watch Jingle All the Way, like we own it on DVD. So, or at least my family does. But yeah, somebody was like, Jingle All the Way, Turbo Man. And I was like, okay, it's going to be Arnold Schwarzenegger looking buff. So it's a Nathan video. There's a man with giant tits. And then below him, I looked at several images from the movie, and it's like, okay, he's in the middle of a parade. And there's this one, I think a Karina, or maybe it's a Nathan drawing, but there's a Yule lad that's reaching for a ceramic bowl from the Rainforest Cafe. So I'm like, okay, I just watched the Barbie movie. If there can be President Barbie and, whatever Ken, there can be Rainforest Cafe Turbo Man. So this Yule lad is going to snatch the last Turbo Man, and Arnold Schwarzenegger's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that little guy is about to take that present that I need for my son. So I'm sure he's going to rush over there and try to grab it. I love this guy's face. Oh, it's so precious. I love this little box. Originally, I was going to have somebody on a bicycle have the package, and I was like, nope, we don't need to do that. We can just do the back of a UPS truck and just put some packages there. We don't need to draw a bicycle. That was unnecessary. I don't know how tubas work. I don't know trumpets. There are going to be some instruments drawn here where the steam was lost. Remember when I said we lose steam? This is it. This is the steam is gone. I did not want to draw uniforms. I did not want to draw these people in the background. I lost all inhibition. I added this child holding hands in the foreground, like pointing like there's Turbo Man to add some visual depth, but y'all, it just was not happening for her. I think it was because I drew such a beautiful muscular man and such a funny little gremlin and such a great gag. I was like, do I have to finish the composition? No. But I did because I would be sad if it wasn't finished. So I end up just doing very loose, kind of, I feel like saying Adventure Time is a cop-out because everyone's just a little noodly. It's not as beautifully cartoonish as Adventure Time. But yeah, just very simple, quick background characters just to fill out the composition and to have it be done. And in the background behind them is just this, there's a road and there's some sidewalk. Oh my gosh, this is so hilarious. But yeah, now I'm coloring everyone in. I didn't know how I was going to color this, but I knew it was going to be a lot of red. Yeah, and I guess this is a celebration of the consumer culture angle on holiday festivities. We had Halloween, we had Hanukkah, we had the true meaning of Christmas. Don't be a capitalist, and then, that's true. Ebenezer Scrooge needs to learn to be more generous, and this guy's like, presents and toys are the true meaning of Christmas. I'm sure that's not the ending conclusion of that movie. It's just spend more time with your son, probably, but I don't remember this one that well. But oh boy, do I like drawing little soldiers in a parade. They were fun to color. I do love pink. I'm adding the touches of yellow now. Look at that T come into fruition. Beautiful. Little flash warning, so sorry for anyone with photosensitivity. There will be a little bit of that with adjustment layers always in these videos. Just, I apologize in advance. I should like put something big on every video description of mine. There will be light. Yeah, and then I just add some shadows on him, and I think I call it a day. And I'm like, this is finished. It's done. So this is the finished image. And yeah, I liked how it turned out. It was funny. And now this is when we had to regain the steam. So the center image, the last thing I had was the Grinch. And the only Yule lad that I had left was Yogi Jacob Yule lad, which we all know and love. It's a joke that's pretty, it's kind of a dead horse now. I don't think the Jacob is Yogi loving yogurt guy is still as relevant as it was 3 years ago. How long ago was that? But I just liked the idea of pairing him with the Grinch, who is the last suggestion of the 5. And I put them all at a New Year's party, which was the New Year's part of this. I was really trying to get this video out to y'all by New Year's Eve, but as it's the new year, we did it. It's still relevant, right? Right? And I based it off of one of my favorite movies, my favorite rom-com definitely, When Harry Met Sally. Such a good movie, so brilliant. I love Meg Ryan, oh my gosh. And that guy that voices Mike Wazowski and Calcifer from Howl's Moving Castle. I like him too. What's his name? I don't know. Meg Ryan's great. Anyway, so I put them in that scene, and I just wanted to draw the Grinch dummy thick, like like this. Oh, I hope I remember to put up a little pop of this guy. That's all I could think of was this mascot. But yeah, I wanted to draw the Grinch, being super embarrassed because he's like, oh my gosh, it's Yogi Jacob. I've had a crush on him since middle school. What am I going to do? I can't possibly kiss him, but the countdown's going on. Are we going to kiss or not? So Grinch is really going through it. And Yogi Jacob's just like, hey, it was a great party, man. And he's just there. Originally, I drew him being more like, do you got any yogurt? Is sort of his attitude. But then, as you can see, as I'm drawing these faces towards the bottom and I'm sort of filling them out, the farther I got away from Yogi, Jacob, and Grinch, the more realistic the characters were. I really leaned into the ink brush, and this is where I found the steam again. Not really any more noodles and just some wonderfully rendered people. I think it's because I had such great reference images to go off of. So I was like, oh, this is like rendered in a style that's much more realistic. So I end up going back later and updating Jacob and the Grinch to be just a little bit more, definitely not hyperrealism, but just a little more stylized rather than super cartoony. That way they fit the rest of the characters in the image. Love these champagne glasses, doing them really quick. I actually love this guy's profile that's holding the champagne. In my mind, he actually looks more like me than my little anime big-eyed character that I show myself as. My profile picture? That's the word. Yeah, I don't know, but that guy's nose looks like my nose, which is fun. I had this girl with some braids, or woman. Lots of hairstyles. I sort of was riffing off of, like I said, images of the party that happened at the end of the movie. And I was just sort of delighted. There was something nice about breathing and allowing myself to do these big sections of black. This is a pro art tip. Whenever you have a lot of white on a canvas, just adding a lot of black just grounds the image and it fills it out quickly. So by being able to do these tuxedos, it just it felt so satisfying. It felt very Julia core. Same with the Ebenezer one, where I was just adding a lot of soft darkness. Adding these graphic darkness was so satisfying, and I was channeling a lot of Julia energy in this piece, which is strange, but it makes sense because this is very much the people are the room, which I think is a Julia approach to drawing people, like a room full of vampires. So yeah, it was just a lot of great swaths. I wanted it to be a little more diverse in the actual movie, so there is some queer people in the background, which is delightful. But it was also nice because by this point, I had finally made it to... I had been with my family for the holidays for a little bit, and you know how families are in the holidays. It can be a little tumultuous, but I absolutely adore getting to spend time with my niece and my nephews. They're such a riot, and they were like, oh my gosh, these are the colors that you should use for each of them, her dress should be green and blah 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 blah, and that's always really sweet. I find that little children tend to engage more with my art in a very serious way that adults never do because it's very unserious. But sometimes it's nice to be treated okay, what color are we gonna pick out for everyone? Oh, I love these boys at the bottom. They make me so happy. I was going for Heartstopper, but they really aren't. They're too old and they don't quite match Heartstopper, but I love them. I think they're so delightful. I like that his tie is untied, as it's been a long night and they've been dancing. It's so romantic. I also love this guy too in the corner. I like that his nose is cropped off. Oh, love this woman's hair. Beautiful. Ugh, it's giving she got a beautiful perm and she's here talking to this other guy. Oh, it's lovely. Lovely. Such a good image. I end up not going all the way back. You see there are even some more little drawings, hints of people farther back, but towards the end of it I was I'm really content with the cast of characters that I've developed so far. Once we sort of get to the top here, this guy with the beard, beautiful. I sort of got satisfied, especially after I add the balloons later. It was nice. This woman's just in a Regency piece. I don't know what she's doing here, but she is. But yeah, I add the balloons and I add this guy blowing this little buzzer thing, Happy New Year. Yeah, and I was just you know what? I don't need to draw people surrounding them in totality. I can just sort of have them be up pretty high, and then I was I'm gonna do a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 Happy New Year, and that would be it, and it would be enough, and it'd be great. I guess I'll transition into something a little more sappy. I'm proud of us. I'm proud of myself for starting this channel and looking back at where I was last New Year and then this New Year, and I don't know, it just really warmed my heart. Especially, I don't know, look at Jacob Drawfee. It makes sense that I'm drawing him right now while I'm talking about this, but I'm very thankful to Jacob and to the whole Drawfee cast, but for reaching out to me and doing that collaboration. It really changed my life in such a beautiful, wonderful way. I'm really able to do this full time because of it. And, I'm not super well off by any stretch of the imagination, but it's just much more viable than it was before, and I will forever be thankful for that, because it's sort of wonderful. And I just love out of all of the communities I get to be a part of, that it's this one, especially with the holidays. I think we all have members of our family that are not as progressive and accepting as we would like them to be, and sometimes it's nice to sort of escape to a world of beautiful digital colors that you can make up, where the Grinch can just flirt with Jacob and everyone's happy and they love gay people. And I love that I'm part of a community that's so wonderfully accepting and kind, so fiercely kind. It's really beautiful. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. I'll just finish there with my little sap. But it's a new year, and I'm really excited to see where we go. I have some if you end up becoming a Patreon, I'm going to sort of add little video updates with some behind the scenes stuff there. And I've already done one where I sort of talk about my goals for next year and how I hope to stretch my legs, because this channel's already gone outside of my wildest imagination. So now let's just really start having fun with it. You know what I mean? I guess I'll say, since I've already missed the more realistic styling of the Grinch and Jacob, it was really interesting drawing a realistic Jacob, because until I colored him, I was really doubting myself. I was like looking at his Newsday and then just photos of Jacob, and I was like, how anime do I do it? And for a second, he looked very Gallo from Promare, but then I ended up settling on this, which was really nice. But for some reason, I was like, to me, Jacob doesn't look like this IRL, but for some reason when he's cartooned, I need his eyes to be sleepy and a little high. Like, he looks slightly intoxicated and slightly just like so mellow, like white guy manga eyes, if that makes sense. And I just had this really particular vision, and then it came together towards the end. But I did add those little, like, his little bunny Newsday is there in the hair, like you can track it, and same with his little alfalfa that's sticking up. Is that a southern thing? A cowlick, which is really great. So now I'm just sort of doing some adjustments. I wanted all the colors to relate to each other more, so I decided to have a more limited color palette. And then I add this beautiful confetti fake snow and the window in the background. That's just a picture of New York, and some curtains to add more texture, and then some rim lighting. You all know the drill. But it looks so good, darling. It looks so good. It looks so fierce in the club tonight. Beautiful. I wanted to snub 5 and just have 4, 3, 2, 1, but my niece was like, you have to include 5. It made her so mad. So I ended up going back and adding 5. Poor 5. But I loved the idea of just 4, 3, 2, 1. To me, that was beautiful. But I included 5. I gave her flowers. There it is. It's done. You just heard me ramble away. Wow, we did it. It's 2024? What? It sounds like a fake year. Happy holidays. If you don't celebrate the holidays in any of these drawings that I've done so far, I hope whatever, you do this time of year was fun. I hope you had some great days, and I hope you enjoyed some great art. And yeah, my end credits are also going to be crazy. Here they are. Okay. Bye, everyone. This was bad. Oh my gosh. I did it. I love y'all. Bye.